Hey guys, so I'm just gonna make this one video to respond to all the comments. Like, I understand that it's quite a wild statement and a lot of people don't agree with it, and I'm absolutely fine with that, but I'm not a robot. I'm not going to follow what the masses think. I have my own opinions and I stand by them. That's first of all. Second of all, I'm in my 30s, right? So I'm more talking about exes that you've dated when you were 17, 18. Like, I'm not being funny. If you dated somebody in college, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to not speak to that person because you dated them in college. Bearing in mind, I don't actually, even though I have dated a friend's ex before, that situation, like, she was okay with it. It wasn't like, do you know what I mean? It was okay. And me and that person ended up being together for a very long time. So, like, I think, like, obviously there's terms and conditions like that apply to this particular thing that I'm saying. I feel like when you get older, you don't really care about these kind of things. Like, obviously I'm not gonna date somebody that you dated yesterday, and it's not a thing where, like, whilst you're in the relationship, I'm like, hey, wait until she's finished with that boy, I'm gonna deal with him. Like, and that's like, that's not what it is. It's just kind of like, I'm not going to shut it down straight away just because they're your ex. If I have a very close friend and then I happen to meet somebody that she dated and, you know, she's just like, I'm uncomfortable with it, me and my friends, we go together real bad. Like, I'm not gonna date that man because she's uncomfortable with it. But I'm saying that I'm not, you know, a lot of people are like, no, straight away. That's not my stance. I'm not no straight away. I'm more like, I will think about it. Get it? Good. Obviously, like, I know that it's not something that a lot of people will necessarily agree with, and like I said, I'm okay with that, but most of you do it and just don't own up to it anyway. So have a good day.
I hate when people say most of you do it and don't own up. That who's most? Not most. Most people don't do that. Sorry, go on your own. I didn't really. I didn't see what she said as that controversial. I don't actually think what she's saying is bad. But let me break this down. So that was a clip of a series on BT International, directed by, I think, you know, basically it's black UK girls, predominantly obviously London, but black UK girls talking about their love experience as being a black woman. I think there's black guys that talk there as well. So it was a short clip taken, and I guess, you know, sometimes when you are speaking in an environment like that, you don't always give the full picture. So you say something that comes across quite wild, and it maybe still is, you know, but there's a lot more to it. So in a nutshell, this is what I get. She is basically saying that if she's got a group of friends and you dated somebody years ago and you're no longer together, like, it's all cool, it's wrapped up well, like, and somehow reconnect, I would give him a try to date him. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, you dated my friend. It's like, well, no, you're another human being. This could work out. Maybe it weren't meant to be, and now it's the right time for me. I don't think there's anything wrong. I think because using that premise, the black community is quite small, especially in London. And she sounded like she could be Nigerian or Ghanaian. She's definitely West African, right? And if a lot of her friends are Af and dating a lot of Af men, let me tell you, it's a small community, bruv. It's a small community. Everybody know everybody to know everybody. You know what I mean? We're all 1 or 2 or 3 degrees connected to each other. Do you see what I mean? So it's kind of difficult to a degree, not in all circles, but in some circles, to not date the same person. But also, what do you mean by dating? This is the bit that I didn't know what she meant. I think she did say in the video she dated her ex, her friend's ex, of who dated the person when they were teenagers, essentially, and they're together a long time. I find that very. I don't see. This is where it's like, but I don't really class that as a. If you date somebody at 17, bruv, yeah, unless you dated the person until you're like in your 20s and that was like a high school sweetheart, you know, and you shared a lot of life, then yeah, I'll probably say that is a bit off. But if you date someone when you were 17, those childish relationships, and then you're now grown and your friend meets them, then cool. But I do think it happens because it's a small community. I think it's difficult to act like it can't happen. Now, this is where the question people are wondering is, did they end well? Like, if 2 exes ended okay, then are you going out with the person because he's a good guy? Because the idea is, if you're going out with your friend's ex, it's because he's a decent guy. They just think they just were not meant to be. So you're like, okay, cool. It might be we're meant to be, right? That's the bit that I'm find fascinating, which she could have explained, but she didn't. She instead went to the. I don't know. See, this is where I feel like sometimes we lack intelligence in ourselves. I'm not going to say she's not intelligent. I'm just saying we lack because. Okay, this is how I've said it. I said, guys, look, the reality is, it's a very small community, particularly in that Black African dating pool, right? If a friend dated somebody when they were 17, not big, not serious now, and they are good, they're in good terms, there's nothing happening there, and he's matured and he's a good guy, and then I happen to meet him, and he demonstrates that he's now capable of being in a relationship, and my friend is like, why would I stop you? Because, bruv, that was like years ago. Like, it's not deep. He didn't do nothing to me, like I'm not harboring anything, then yeah, that to me is a better thing to say rather than like, yeah, I date my friend's ex, because it sounds like you date a guy who maybe she date. It's like this situation is perfect. Like the situation I just talked about is like the betrayer, yeah, and the mother. That is too close to home. So I can't date somebody's ex if you were together for a long time, you shared life. I've been involved in your life, like, like the friend, right? I find that a bit weird personally. Now, I don't deny that it could be that you are actually meant to be, and I was the placeholder. But I do think there's so many millions of people in this world. You end up being with the one that I was with, and you was with me with them. We're not talking about I was in a relationship for a year or two, even for X period of time when I was really young, and we just fell out. We just fell out like out of love, or fell out. We grew apart. We're older, wiser. I'm not interested in him, of course. It's like when you say ex, you mean ex-husband. Like, do you see what I'm trying to say? So it shows me to me that she's talking about immature relationships. And by all means, what's wrong with that? But then are you talking about situationship? You're saying that you would sleep with your friend's ex? Are you saying that if your friend was just sleeping around with a guy and then they just don't work out because there's a situationship, but then now he's really serious and then you meet? I think that's okay as well, because them two were just sexing. So this is what I'm trying to say. Like, what is it you're talking about? When you say ex, most people are going to take it as your friend was in a significant relationship with a partner. They broke up for whatever reason. And then obviously not immediately, then you meet them and you get together, or you knew them while they were together and then time has gone past and then you connect. That's the bit that I find weird. I think it's different if I've got friends that have exes that I never really spoke to. It just was never around. So it's different if I meet them and I say, wow, like, I swear you look familiar. Oh my God, you dated my friend. I naturally would be unattractive to that person anyways. Like, it just couldn't run. And to be fair, none of my friends, and I don't think, don't find their guys attractive. So I wouldn't find their guy attractive at all. So it's just weird. Now, where I resonate with her is that if a guy moves to me, for example, and it just doesn't work out, I've given him to other, because it's not that deep, bruv. Like, we talked. It's not that deep. So I don't have an issue with that. I only have an issue that you liked me and then the next day you want to like my bedroom. I find that weird. But if a guy moves to me and I'm like, look, I'm married, but I've got good friends. Do you like anyone? Like, even 2 weeks ago, I was on the train and it was this nice, good-looking Ghanaian guy. I was like, this guy, we started talking. I was trying to find out if he's got, trying to find out. Bruv, tell me he's talking to a girl. I was like, I was trying to hook him up with some friends, because it's like, do you know how hard it is, yeah? In this day and age, in the UK, in London specifically, yeah, to date. Do you know how hard it is to date, to find somebody who is serious, to find someone who's not going to play games, to find somebody who can be the mother of your children, the father of your children, your wife, your husband, to come into your family, for you to submit. Do you know how hard it is? It's hard. That's why many people are still single. So for me, it's natural and normal if a guy approaches me to be like, and I don't like the guy, or I'm in a relationship, so to see if he can be any other, because why would I waste this opportunity? Where I won't do is if a guy moves to me like in a club, in an environment where he's seen some of my friends and he's moved to them and then wants to meet to me, I can't do that. It's weird because you feel like you're second. Why didn't you move to me first? Do you see what I mean? So there's weird rules that make it okay. If for whatever reason he moves to somebody outside I didn't see, then comes to me and then goes, rah, That's different. I didn't see who you spoke to before. If I see you work in the room and you want to come to me, one, are you trying to do chess? Are you trying to just get numbers? If you move to me and the friends that you see are not the same friends that I connect with you, I don't have an issue with. I've had exes that have well, let me not have exes. Yeah, one ex has liked another friend. I didn't have an issue with that. I didn't care. So for me, yeah, no, two exes have done that, dated other or tried to, or potential. I don't really care. Once you're an ex for a reason, and good luck with somebody else, right? But I know that majority, my close friends couldn't do that because I think because it's weird. It's like if I'm it's like anyone with my husband, right? We're not gonna get divorced, right? But it would be weird for them if, for whatever reason, we're not together anymore because you've seen us as a family unit. Now, when people see me, they see my husband. It has to be a friend of a friend. That's different. But a close friend, same. I couldn't do it to somebody else. I couldn't do that. Like, I just find it very weird. I find it weird. But I say weird because it's a difficult. There's nuances to this. There is nuances. Are you a new friend or an old friend? Maybe I become a friend of a person. They meet me and my husband. Or let me not use me as an example. They meet a couple, then the couple breaks up, and then that one of the couples goes with the friend. Maybe that's different because the friend wasn't there for the germination and the growth of the relationship, right? So the friend isn't there. Sorry, for those that have joined, welcome. I am speaking about a viral video that happened where a girl basically said that she will date her friend's ex. So I'm trying to dissect it because I think that statement is controversial within itself. But when you break it down, for a lot of people, it makes a lot of sense. It's reasonable. But there's just different context. Is that, are you telling me that you dated an ex immediately after I broke up with him? Are you telling me you dated an ex that was terrible to me? Like, why would you then go out with an ex that weren't good for me? So why do you think they'd be good for you? You're talking about an ex of like 10 years ago. You're talking about an ex of like when we were children. Like, you know what I mean? Also, are you guys in the same circle? Because I'm presuming that you guys are in a circle. Because the thing is about the Black community, and especially like the African community, potentially even the Caribbean community, there are different kind of certain kind of cliques. What I mean is, I don't have a circle of friends that we all know each other. But if you have a circle of friends that all know each other, that means you're 1 or 2 degrees apart from everybody. So you might have a circle of friends, and one of your friends has like her boyfriend. He's got friends, right? And you guys all jam together, and your other friends. So you're always jamming together with friends of friends of friends of friends. So you're kind of in this kind of circle of different people that you kind of all know. You're not all close to each other, but you all know, right? So one breaks up with that person and date with that person. That happens. So this is the reason why I'm saying that she is right to say that at the end of the day, it happens a lot, because if you're in kind of somewhat of a circle of friends, you're going to cross-fertilize. When men and women come together, things happen. Like, it's just kind of what happens. But not all friendships are like that. Some friendships, like, you've got 1, 2, or 3 friends that are all kind of disparate. They may know each other because of you, but they're not friends. So, yeah. What it does show you is a lack of immaturity in relationships, because this conversation could have been a very conducive and healthy conversation to talk about relationships and what happens. Because, in all honesty, yeah, let's be very real. There's a lot of nonsense angels. Let me call them that. There's a lot of nonsense men, nonsense women, right? So, personally speaking, to a degree, if you dated somebody 5 years ago who was a good guy, but you guys didn't work out, but you've now moved on. I'm not talking about the good guy that you wish you were with, but you're a good guy that you said is a good guy, but you don't want to be with, right? What is wrong with your friend meeting this guy who's also a good guy and she's a good girl? I guess I think it's weird if the friend was with me in that relationship. That's what I'm saying. And that's where I find it somewhat disconcerting. I could not date a friend's ex if I was kind of in that relationship as well. Like, we were somewhat friends, maybe, or even if we weren't friends, I knew you both together and we spent time together. I find that weird. It's different if you were, if it's like when we're children, like 17, 18, up below 21, ain't making no sense. Doesn't matter. I just think but who cares? Below 21, who's really caring? After 21, yeah, even that, maybe really after 25, but after 21, and I'm with you in your relationship, and then you guys break up, it will have to be a good 5 to 10 years for that to make sense for me. and I don't see you around. Then you come, you pop up, and then somehow we click and connect. And it has to be a situation where we click and connect in a really neutral, organic way outside of a friend that we were, so that it feels like it's good. The Bible says, "Flee the appearance of evil." So I wouldn't date an ex if it might ever look like I was potentially with him at the same time as my friend was with him. Flee the appearance of evil. It's not worth it. You don't want question marks. It's like Israel Horton and what do you call her, the lady on the reel. There was all types of question marks. They've had to come out and actually say that they were not together. They were friends, because when the whole thing came out, it was a scandal that he cheated, which he did. He cheated on his wife. And then all of a sudden, very quickly, he was with Adrian. So even to this day, many people think that she was the other woman. So and you're never going to run away from that. You're never going to run away. Majority of her new fans obviously don't know that, may not even, they won't know, they won't care. But those that were in the gospel scene at the time will have that view of her. And if they don't have that view of her, we'll still look at it a bit sketchy, because I'm sorry, people lie. So maybe she wasn't the other woman that you cheated sexually with, but maybe she was still the other woman that you were emotionally in your head thinking I could be with potentially. So at the end of the day, that is why people find it odd when you break up with me on a Monday and then by Friday you're dating somebody. People start going, okay, what was going on? How does that occur? How does that happen? Because normally it's a break. Normally it's a time of reflection. Unless that's the rebound, where you guys chatting beforehand. So this is the reason why, in all honesty, let's be very honest with yourselves. We have to avoid the appearance of evil. So as that woman says, it does happen. She's talking about she dated somebody when they were she dated her friend ex when they break up in 17. Oh, come on then. Like, come on. What was that at that age? But I get your point. And the reality is, you got to understand that some of these clips have to go viral. You're aware if you say things, it's going to go viral. It's going to do a little bit of a number. So who knows if she just was a bit more provocative? Because when she spoke about it, I don't think it overly helped, because I don't think she articulated herself her best. But I think I got it, because I think when you are an adult, and I want all my friends to be in a good relationship. Okay, even for example, one of my friends, not dated, I didn't date this guy, but this guy liked me years ago. And then she was speaking to him. I didn't have an issue. I just said that, I think I just explained why I just wasn't feeling him. But she really got on with him. Then nothing happened. Nothing went far. But I didn't feel a certain way. I just said, oh my God, I spoke to this guy before. I think this is the guy I spoke to. I just didn't like him. He was really lovely though, but I just didn't like him. Why would I have an issue? I'd be like, girl, like, how can you speak to him? Like, bro, it's not that deep, bro. If it didn't work out for me, if I did not do madness and we didn't do madness together, like, please, by all means. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's important to understand that, I cannot close off love from my exes or my friends. And if they happen to find love with each other, then fair enough. I think it's when it becomes messy, when there's a question of, have you been liking each other before that? Like, that is why self-control is important. That's the reason why a lot of people, that's why this conversation is messy. Because if people just did, I break up with somebody, crap, I like my friend's ex now. Can you not hold yourself for another year? I know it's hard, but can you not say, you know what? Let's not be together. If we're meant to be, we will be. But let's be separate for a couple of years, so it doesn't look like this occurs. What we do is, I don't care. We love each other. And then when you get the hate, you start going, well, you start arguing, you start saying all manner of things. But no, you can have self-control. If love is truly, if love is truly there, and love says that love has self-control, love covers all wrongs, if you love your friend, but you now love the ex, right? Genuinely, there was nothing happening before that, but you guys happen to just come together after. You know what happens? Sometimes you're friends with two people, you're friends with two couples, and they break up. And it wasn't really a bad breakup. It wasn't like a messy breakup. They break up, and you'll console both of them. Those are times when what happens is that the friend ends up being with the guy. But I like it when I see men and women say, you know what? We actually like each other, but let us separate, because this is going to become messy. It's going to look suspect. If we're meant to be, we'll come back together in a number of years, in a year, in 6 months, when my ex and your friend has healed, and maybe she'll even be okay with us being together. right? We don't need her permission because she's the ex. But what we don't want to do is to make it seem that do you know what I mean? It looks off. It will hurt her and it will hurt us and it will make us start in a funky relationship and family and friends will see us a certain way. That is love. Love is not going, no, let's just do this. Let's just ride or die. Let's not care what people think. No, you should care what people think because those are the same people that are going to be there for you when you're going through it. Yeah, I hope I've made my point clear. I think that we have to acknowledge the fact that we live in a small community. You know, it's very much different if she's talking about like dating anybody. She's most likely talking about black men, even likely to be African men, probably even Nigerian men. It's a small circle.